which is in my neighborhood and was not without, it's interesting. Everything requires conversation, including improving a park. So I think we could go to Linda for any additional framing.
Yeah, I just wanted to start by saying this is a disposition of a former school site, so it's different from the other property dispositions you do of county-owned property that's not a former school site. So it's a little different. Some of the council has to approve this, but it was not clear exactly how. So the county attorney, DGS, and council staff, we all talked, which is why we've recommended that you adopt a resolution around this. Resolutions have been a little different in the past, and we haven't done one of these in a very long time. So the process is a little different. The executive has a public hearing. The executive held a public hearing. There weren't any comments. They left the comment period open. They did not receive any additional comments. Everything has been checked off in terms of the statements from the Board of Education that they don't need the site, the referral to the planning board. In this case, of course, the planning board has an interest in this, but there is a referral to the planning board that's required. All of those things have been done. And so I just wanted to just clarify that it's a little different process from the other property dispositions. The council does not have a public hearing, but you would adopt a resolution approving this, assuming you agree.
And let me say that, it's good that we have to have this conversation. And I think probably a question in all of our minds is, hey, what about housing, right? We have a strong interest in housing. This was not an instance where we were looking at a piece of property and figuring out of all the uses that might be out there, what would be the best use. This originated because there was strong community demand in making some improvements to the park. That's it. And I think it wouldn't go over very well if anytime there was a park, well, it wouldn't be any time, but, a simple park improvement could result in, a profound transformation of a park.
And so the history of this goes back to the 70s. It's just that for whatever reasons, the actual transfer from schools to the county didn't occur. It was supposed to be part of a land swap that was around some other property. So the intent always was that the Board of Education had determined that they didn't need the property, that it was to go to parks, it was to be a park. But the actual transfers did not start occurring until around a year ago, and so the process has been undertaken to make sure we, follow the appropriate process and get the council's approval for the disposition. But it's been in use as a park since 1976, so this is not something that's a new use for a former school site.
Exactly.
And so what we wanted to do really was to make sure you had an overview of what the plans are for the park and the renovation for the park, and then if you had any questions about the disposition.
Great.
Hey, hi, good morning. Good morning. My name is Wen Huang. I'm from Montgomery Parks, and I'm the project manager for the Silver Spring Intermediate Park renovation. I would just want to give you a general overview of what we're going to do for this park. So this is the map of the park. The red square is where it's located. It's at the edge of the Tacoma Park City and about 1 mile distance from the downtown Silver Spring. And this is an equity map that developed by the park. It's generally located around the category 3. So it's in a pretty diverse community and with very dense population. And this plan is in 1976, when the park was used as a Silver Spring Intermediate School, and the school building has demolished in 1970s, and the yellow square is the gym that has been stayed on the site till 1990s. This plan is developed in 1996 when we're transferring the land to a park, and you can see some of the facilities that still remain on the site. And this is the current condition of the park. So there are 4 entrances marked as the red star, and there is a parking lot that is remained since the school was there. And there are 2 basketball court, 2 tennis court, and the playground was built in early 2000. And there's the green area is the big open space that's very, very popular and cherished by the community.
Exactly, yeah, across the street. This was once Silver Spring Intermediate School.
This was used as the school in 1970s, and since then it was converted as a park, and people has been using it since then. And all other area, like the area between the basketball court and tennis court, are all heavily canopied with the trees. And I'm also showing some gradings, so you can see that this park has dramatic grading distance from the street to the tennis court and playground area. So, as I said, this has been a park since 1970s, and it's almost 50 years, and there are a lot of issues are happening at the park. We noticed the ponding waters, failing retaining walls, unsafety playground, and we just constantly get phone calls from the neighbors about all these issues. And our maintenance people constantly go back to fix it, but we think it's a time to look at the park again and see what we can do to not just fixing the problem, but also addressing the neighbors' growing needs and the emerging trends of the new generations. So we had several community meetings, I think 3. And during the community meetings, the neighbors has expressed their thoughts of what this park should be. And this is a neighborhood park, but this has a parking which is unusual. But the neighbors want to keep the parking because many of the homes around it doesn't have a garage. And this park is so popular on the weekends. It's just many people are attractive coming to this site. And the open space I just mentioned it's a very flexible open space, which is rare in this high density neighborhood, and it's very important and has been used by many people of different age, and also as a dog park. And we have to resolve the drainage issue, and people want to keep the park simple, not too overly programmed for this park. And of course, protecting all the mature trees. So this is the plan that we're proposing. We are keeping most of the existing facilities by just looking at the plan. It doesn't seem much changes, but our goal is to improve the existing facility to make them more attractive and utilize the existing space more effectively, and make the existing amenities multifunction to serve for more users. And of course, address the safety issues, the ADA needs, and the stormwater issues of the park. So other than improve the existing amenities, we are proposing some new amenities, including a looped walkway, which is the park is needed. It's about a quarter mile, and people can go all the way around the park and to the surrounding sidewalk. And we're proposing natural play area next to the playground to serve more kids, like older kids, that they can play naturally and understand how the environment is working. And we are proposing a hard surface soccer court next to the tennis court. And this used to be 2 tennis courts, and now it will become multifunctional sports courts that can accommodate soccer, tennis, and pickleball.
So we pause there because this is very exciting. This is the first hard surface soccer court in the county, I believe. Maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and this was community driven. There were neighbors in the area with kids who brought to our attention that there is a new trend of creating hard surface mini pitches, they're called. Soccer pitch is another phrase for soccer field. And by having it be hard surface, it's very predictable how the ball will bounce. And in fact, in Europe, and including in Eastern Europe, a lot of countries are building these so that kids can build skills year round. And it's suitable for kind of pickup games, small 1-on, 2-on-2. But it's a way for us to hopefully, I hope this is a pilot. We'll find that this works, and we're going to do this in a lot of places where kids would like to be able to play soccer, but the only option is either a big field, which might be permitted and used, or some scrap of grass somewhere. And this creates a real formalized. And you can see, actually, I recall when we went to Long Branch, we were there for a tour or something. Some of the kids had actually converted the tennis court to this kind of use. It's sort of like a organic trend. And so this will allow, this will be custom, built. And again, it will allow play year round, even despite weather, although I don't know anyone's going to play in a pouring rainstorm. But I think it's an exciting way for us to recognize that kids need to be able to play pickup soccer, and this is terrific for skills building. It might be that teams also want to book this, and we have a lot of hard surface courts or other hard surfaces around the county where this might be something that would be a better use for the kids in the area than whatever other hard surface use there is at that moment. So I want to thank you for your work on this and kind of bringing this through the process and recognize the community advocates who brought this idea to us, and that's why we're here today, I think.
Yeah, during the community meeting, we hear a lot of requests, and it's a long conversation of what we want for the tennis court. This is a very popular park, and every time I come here, I see people, kids, different age group using all this. So we want to make it more serve for more people. And other things we are adding to this park is a drinking fountain and bike racks.
It needs a drinking fountain.
Yeah. So this is some pictures we saw in other area for multi-purpose court. This some ideas that we are having for this park. The colors may be too extreme. We will use a more acceptable colors for this court. And that's an overview, bird's eye view.
Great. Thank you. That's it. All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your work on this. Thank you to my colleagues. When you support the parks budget,
vote?
Vote on the disposition.
Did we say yes?
Do we need a motion? Okay.
Second. Okay,
Seconded. All right. All those in favor, please raise your hands.
great.
And that is unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.